What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome back into the Quick Pitch MLB DFS live stream and podcast, breaking down Tuesday's 11-game main. James, not a bad night last night, right? We had the Bo Bichette cover man go yard for us. We discussed Framber Valdez goes and throws a complete game shutout. We had Brian Reynolds in our example lineup. He homered. So all in all, not an awful night. And now we have a big slate with some elite starting pitching at the top.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say anytime you get a DeGrom, Cole, Darvish, Kershaw slate, that I would say that classifies. That's slotted in the elite category. Yeah. But yeah, interesting slate. 11 games, a little smaller than we usually have on Tuesdays, Sean. I feel like we usually get anywhere from like 12 to 15 games.
Yeah, they load it up.
Yeah, Tuesdays are just, the day of baseball. But it looks like an interesting slate. It looks like a fun slate, ready to get into it.
Yeah, so let's start at pitching. Jacob deGrom against the Chicago Cubs. Again, deGrom is as deGrom-y as ever. 30-plus fantasy points in all but 2 of his starts, and he was limited in the first, 3 of them to 76 pitches. And he threw 36 fantasy points. I mean, I think you have to plug him in and just figure out a way to build around him, right? So, that's just, there's no pivoting off of Jacob deGrom. He's the most automatic thing I think there is in pitching right now, outside of Framber Valdez going for quality starts. You have Garrett Cole against the Boston Red Sox. Cole has a sort of unlucky history against Boston lately. More so, Rafael Devers tends to own him. But again, recent form out of Garrett Cole, 11 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts against the Angels of all team, and then 14 strikeouts against Minnesota. So strong performances out of him that continue to sort of be the story of the inconsistency at times of Garrett Cole.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I agree on all fronts and not really a pivot. I don't think, if you're playing cash games, you're just not fading this guy, especially against the Cubs and their anemic offense. So fire up deGrom in cash and obviously tournaments as well. 12K on FanDuel, perfectly fine doing that as well.
Yep.
I think the one thing with Cole, John, is especially when it comes to Devers, at least Devers is struggling. He had the one big game the other day, but there hasn't been a lot of power at all in Rafael Devers' bat. I mean, 1 home run since August 14th. This is the last time he homered before. He almost went a full month without a home run, which, you don't typically see from Rafael Devers.
Yep.
So he can heat up at any point, but I think this is, if there was a time for Cole to face the Red Sox, it's now, especially coming off, the last handful of starts. 3 in a row have looked really good, 2 of which he's had 11 and 14 strikeouts. Right. So Garrett Cole is in peak form right now.
Yeah. Yu Darvish against Seattle is the other 10K starter on this slate. We've liked Darvish at times, and then he's, not always come through for us. You look at his home road splits on the road this year, a 4 ERA. Seattle, we've talked about that, right? They've been striking out, but they have a lot of power. So that's something you kind of have to worry a little bit. Darvish has allowed 11 home runs his last 10 games, 20 on the season, just allowed 3 in his last game against Arizona, so if Seattle continues to swing that home run bat, it could be a tough day for Darvish there. And then you have Kershaw here, couple starts since he's been back. He's been good, right? Just, 5 innings, 1 earned, 6 innings, 2 earned, 8 strikeouts against San Francisco last time out. I don't mind going back there at 10K either.
I just want Kershaw to stay healthy, man. Even at his age, he's still so good. And I think that's lost upon us because of how Jacob deGrom he was for so long, right? He was Jacob deGrom before Jacob deGrom,
right?
Kind of from the left side, and obviously different styles and everything, but in terms of just pure dominance, that was Clayton Kershaw, and he's still really good. And I love the fact that we see 86 pitches his last start. I mean, we went from a month off to 74 pitches to 86. Looked as sharp as ever. 8 strikeouts was great. He's now had 14 and 11 innings since being back. I prefer him over Darvish. As you mentioned, Seattle hits a lot of home runs. During the month of September, second in isolated power, 224. That's just slightly behind Philly, who leads this month. So like you said, Darvish gives up home runs, 20 home runs on the year. I'd rather go to Kershaw. And I think Kershaw is, an interesting pivot off of Garrett Cole as if you can afford 2 spend ups going DeGrom Kershaw, I don't hate that approach.
No, that's probably where I would go too. I think I would go probably DeGrom and Kershaw as my top 2 guys there. If we're looking in the mid tier, Kyle Wright obviously has San Francisco. Strider kind of let us down. He had 9 strikeouts last night, but gave up a couple of runs and only went 5 innings. So not the performance we had hoped for against San Francisco, but I would still be okay kind of running it back with Kyle Wright here. Strikeouts with him a little bit less consistent, but he's still having a really good rookie season, so something I'm okay with. And then we have Jordan Montgomery. I feel like every time Montgomery's on a slate, he's facing a team that struggles against lefties, and Milwaukee is one of them teams. He faced them already. When he was at home. 6 shutout innings, 8 strikeouts in that game. I'm going to say it. I'm going to just continue to play Jordan Montgomery when he's on slates. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in full agreement. Milwaukee since just the start of this month, so 12 days. Pretty decent sample size, 30% K rate, which is the second highest in the league, only behind Oakland. Yes, 576, the third worst in the league. So they're just not doing anything.
And they don't hit on the
lefties.
road, and now they're going into a pitcher's style stadium in St. Louis. So,
yep, everything lines up for Montgomery. And I think, so he's been more expensive in each of his last 3 starts. He's allowed 1 earned in his last 2 starts. So I'm not exactly sure where they're getting this pricing. He had a tough matchup against Atlanta, and Atlanta hits lefties really well. But since then, he's been nails. And I'll also throw Logan Gilbert into that equation too. Just knowing how bad San Diego's been and knowing how good Logan Gilbert's been the last few, I'd throw him into the mix.
Yeah, Monty, since being traded to the Cardinals, has had only 1 start where he's given up more than 1 run. So
it's insane,
right? It's pretty.
It's so painful to hear you say that. I just want you to know. Let the record state, I am in pain hearing that.
Yeah, he's been pretty dominant. So I think Monty, I know you like Gilbert. Gilbert's probably the easy pivot if you're going to tournaments, and because I think Monty's going to be rather popular here tonight.
Yeah, I think we could probably just figure out pitching now and go DeGrom Montgomery. I know we're going to talk about the rest of the position.
DeGrom Montgomery will give us $3,700 a player. And you know what? Red Sox on the slate. I don't care. It's Garrett Cole. Reach McGuire for $2K. We'll play. Anyway, so that's probably where we're going to go with pitching, but under the 8K range. I mean, you could go Joe Ryan too if you wanted to. Not a guy that I've played much of. Kansas City. Let's see. I'm not going to do Pivetta against the Yankees. No, thank you. Dean Kramer against Washington. He's been pitching a little bit better of late. Any interest there?
Possibly. Maybe because there's not a lot down here. Washington does have a little thump against righties. Luis Garcia has been pretty good. Joey Meneses has been good. Lane Thomas has hit righties decently. But yeah, I think Kramer is probably the only one down here that I'd like.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Seriously.
I'm really looking at maybe.
Ken Waldichuk is okay. They acquired him in a deal
90
recently.
Pitches in both those games. Lefty, Texas. Could be a spot. I was going to say maybe Kopech at home against Colorado. Maybe like.
We'll have to see the pitch count because he did return. He threw 74 pitches, and I don't know if that was because he was out for he was out for almost 3 weeks. So was he limited? Was he just bad? Sure. And they were
he also
get out of the game.
Wasn't good. It could have been limited there, but I'd be willing to be a little bit different there. But I really don't like anything else here.
Yeah, Chris Bubich. No,
that's Minnesota. No,
I mean we know just this is the prime letdown spot for Minnesota. This feels like a spot that people are going to use Minnesota. The writing's already on the wall. Yeah. They're going to let everyone down.
I agree. All right, let's go to catcher then. We have 3,700 players, assuming we're going the Monty DeGrom route. So we're probably taking ourselves out of any of the top price pitchers when it comes to building our lineups. But if you're building your lineups today, some targets for you there. I mean, maybe Adley Rutschman at 54. Yep.
I don't hate Salvi. I don't hate Salvi just because the fastballs.
Okay.
Joe Ryan just throws all fastballs. So
yeah, that's fine. Sean Murphy gets the lefty and Reagan's here.
Yep, that's a good one.
I think that's probably a pretty good spot for him. Kelly he gets a lefty, but it's Kershaw. I don't know, man. Is there really
James McCann's been pretty good lately.
Yeah,
he's not exciting, but he's also
we don't need exciting. We just need on base.
I mean, five or more fantasy points in 6 straight games.
Yeah.
So
three game stretch of 10 plus. So
yeah. So coming alive, hitting over 300 over his last 10. Gary Sanchez gets a lefty 3K.
Sure.
Again, they're going to be chalk, and it's going to be disappointing. If Bethancourt's in the lineup, John, I know he wasn't, but dude,
he's probably in tonight because he wasn't in last night. Right?
I know. Probably.
I would play.
Mitch White has been.
I would go back to him at 2,900.
Dude, Mitch White, his last 3 starts. Angels, 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs. Cubs. So Angels, Cubs, Orioles were his 3 matchups.
Yeah, some bad teams.
5 innings, 8 runs, or 8 hits, 7 runs. 4 2/3, 8 hits, 6 runs. 2 1/3, 3 hits, 5 earned runs. He's bad.
Yeah, he's not good. So yeah, listen, we liked Betancourt last night. I would certainly play him if he's active today. And you can go either White Sox catcher. I still wish they would play Sebi more, but because he's cheap. So if Sebi's in the lineup tonight, I would play him. Again, if you want to punt a Boston catcher, I'm fine with that. They just all hit well. So even though it's against Garrett Cole, they're cheap there. So first base position, you have St. Louis is going to deal with two pitchers here. Bush is going to open, I guess, and they got a long reliever play for
Josh Lindblom.
Either way, I'm fine going St. Louis here, against that. Toronto gets Chirinos for a little bit tonight as well. Top tier guys, again, you can kind of just set them in your lineup. Is there a preference that you have for them?
Probably Goldie.
Again, hard to get the goal. Let's put Betancourt in the lineup for now. And we'll just kind of see what our pricing ends up looking at as we continue to move along. So
I feel like Goldie's the only one over 5K that's like really appealing. I think Freddie Freeman's matchup is pretty tough with Merrill Kelly. Really good, Yanni Chirinos looked really good in his debut, and I know Vladdy's coming alive a little bit here. I feel like we've been saying that all year.
Yeah.
But 5-game hit streak, 3 doubles over that span, but no power. Definitely not the same power as it was last year. Probably not going to get to Alonso 55. Well, contrarian, like tournaments only.
Yeah.
We know we're not playing Wisdom ever at 51. I didn't care if you're on the mound. I'm not going to pay Patrick Wisdom at 51.
Too expensive.
I think Goldie's the only one over 5K.
There's nothing wrong with that either. So I'm fine with that. When we get into the mid tier again, there's not
a lot.
It's if you're not going Kershaw, right? Christian Walker has hit well against lefties, but it's Kershaw. Sure. We love Nathaniel Lowe, but he's got a lefty in Waldichuk, so maybe a tougher spot for him. Abreu at 4K, he's hitting over 300 still. Power's been sapped a bit there, but could be just a good plug guy. Mountcastle getting out of Baltimore, there's some potential power for him there. Though he's generally better against lefties.
I like that one. I think he's actually been. I think that's been.
Is it flipped this year?
I think so. I'll confirm right now. Okay. Mountcastle, I wouldn't say better, but 16 of his home runs against righty.
I might throw Luke Voigt against Kramer here. 2,900, right? Power versus righties.
All his power against righties. I'm with you. I like that. I like that a lot, John. He's hot right now.
Yeah, I might go in that. I might go that range. The Kansas City first basemen are also against Joe Ryan here. Pasquantino last 10 games, 286, 840 OPS. Cassis is 2K if you wanted to really punt and see how he hasn't been great. He's not striking out a ton, but he's just not getting hits. So
I'd probably rather. I feel like the Voigt play is punty enough for us at 29. I like that. I'll throw him in. We're
gonna build this lineup as we go because we need to figure out what range we can actually play guys in with DeGrom at almost 12K.
Voigt hitting 303, 356 WOBA against righties. Dean Kremer 283 average allowed against right-handed bats.
I don't mind. Second base, Mookie Betts is 62. Tommy Edmonds is 55 at the top. Stories day-to-day at 51. I don't know what happened to him. Semien is 5K. You're 5K and above guys. Not going to play any of those.
Marcus Semien is having just the most infuriating season I've ever seen.
Two home runs, 4 stolen bases his last 10 games. He's got a 2020 season. But you can't ever play him in DFS. He's just impossible.
He's just impossible to figure out when he's. Yeah, it's impossible to figure out when he's going to do anything.
I agree. Let's see. Lau went 0 for 5 last night. Still trash.
So they have that young kid, Jonathan Aranda, playing some second and first lefty bat who continues to hit over 300.
Oh, we need value, and Grissom's 3,400. So.
Yeah, it's probably ultimately going to be.
It's probably just going to be Grissom.
Especially when you look at the rest of the position, if you're not using DeGrom, Montgomery, and you want to go a different route, there's not a lot. There's not a lot
McKinstry
here.
Homer, but he's got DeGrom. You're not going to do that a lot. Aranda's 2K. His first base, second base eligibility.
Yeah, Aranda, 2K.
Yeah, what's he hitting? Is he at the bottom of the lineup?
No, he hit 6th yesterday, and that's just what Tampa does, They just
Grissom or Aranda at second base.
We also have Gunnar there too. There's 3 just young kids that we can play for free at second. I'm just confirming right now that he did hit 6 because if he hit 6, I'd say just punt the position
punt, but also maybe you're getting a little stack there with Betancourt.
He hit 7th.
Okay,
and they hit Mejia 8th. So if Betancourt just slots in
I'm fine with
Or
it
ma-
now. If we have to go back and fix it, we can
Okay.
go back. But at least for now, we're giving ourselves some more money to play with as we come to some of our favorite positions to spend up on. $4,400 where we're at per player now. We know there's a value outfielder that we're going to throw in there for like 2K. So third base, you got Arenado at 50, Witt at 56, Machado at 55, Riley at 54, Devers at 53, Muncie's over 5K. Arenado for sure is a guy that I love just locking into lineups.
Yep.
Riley's only been power. The average hasn't really been there of late. 211 last 10, but has 4 homers during that stretch. Machado struggled. Bobby Witt, not really.
And then Devers BBP.
Yeah, Devers BBP is the only thing. Do you have Devers BBP up here? Because it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Devers BBP. So he is 8 for 28. 286 average, 6 home runs. So 6 of his 8 home runs. He has a 515 WOBA.
And a lot of that production is recent too. Those home runs they're like the last seasons.
Yeah, brutal.
Prime Devers has been a nightmare for Garrett Cole here.
Garrett Cole has 2 dads, Rafael Devers and G-Man Choi.
So Devers is there. Again, I like Otto probably the most of that group. Mid-tier, Turner got a little bit of a price bump. We did play him last night. Didn't really come through. We wanted one hit, 2 runs scored. Still 7 fantasy points, but the way he was running, we expected more out of him. Yandy, forever, just, hitting doubles, not even doubles, hitting singles, right? 333 average last 10, only 1 extra base hit during that stretch.
This looks like the Christian Vasquez stretch of games, all singles.
Yeah, so kind of tough there.
Donaldson 43
against Pavetta is probably fine on the road.
See if there's BVP there. 5 for 23, but 3 home runs.
Yeah. We talked about it. He's hitting 258 on the road versus 181 at home. So
and I think all the power too on the road. 9 of his 13 home runs on the road as well.
Let's see.
Eddie Esco has been on fire, John. On freaking fire. He goes through these like insane stretches where he's just like super good. He's hitting 500 over his last 10 games. 5 home runs.
What's his stronger split side is versus righty?
No, his stronger split side is from the right side, but right now, I mean,
this way he's going.
It's just he's in 500. Like that's just like every which way he's dominating.
Sure. If we went off Arenado here, it gives us 4K a player for shortstop and outfield. So just on.
Let's
move on.
Hold off on third.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything below 3K unless you see it, but
no,
we're gonna get to so many high-priced players in the next like 2 positions that I don't want to fully lock.
Bichette's 57. He came through for us in his last at bat last night with a home run.
Wait, John, we do have someone at third.
Okay.
Josh Jung.
Oh yeah, he homered.
Hit a bomb. Hit a bomb. His second bomb yesterday. Still 2K.
Okay.
Gets the lefty here.
All right, I'll put him in. That works.
Well, we don't have to. I'm just saying,
no, I want to. 5K gives us 5K a player for the next 3 positions.
Okay.
I like it. I'm in. Shortstop again. I think Bichette takes the cake for the top group here.
He is so. Did you see the? Like you sent it to me, and I went and watched that he just homered.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. He like was looking for a fastball, and you could see like the way his hands he like barely took a stride. It was like down away a slider, and he just pulled it.
He's hitting 500 with a 1600 OPS the last 10 games and 6 home runs. So
yeah, it's in this is clinical.
Should we lock him in, or do you want to keep looking? You have Correa versus lefty with Bubic. Obviously, we know.
I do not want to play Twins.
I don't either.
I do not want to.
Wanderers, we know, is better against lefties, but you talked Mitch Weitzman. He's certainly in that range there. Our boy Mateo is obviously always a threat, but right now really struggling. Henderson has the multi-position eligibility. Elvis Andrews is 3K against Chad Cool. Our boy Elvis Andrews.
He continues to just be super good.
Right. So if you wanted to spend down, I think that's where I'm at. I think I'm like pretty much Andrews or Bichette here.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else. So
right. If we went Andrews, that will give us 5,600 in outfielder. We literally just play the top outfielders.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think playing Judge against Pavetta is the move.
Right. So if we go Andrews, we play Judge. $5,300 an outfielder for the remaining 2 outfield spots. We only have a 2-man Rays stack going, and it's a bottom of the lineup for Rays. We don't really have we got a lot of one-offs at the moment, which is fine. Like, you can win tournaments with one-offs.
We can go with Giancarlo as well. Homers in 2 straight.
Okay.
And I was just looking at.
I'm fine stacking against Pavetta. He's been so
Stanton BVP.
Yeah.
Favetta 8 for 20, which is 400 average, 3 bombs.
Okay.
And home runs in 2 straight. You know, like Giancarlo is like that dude. Like when he's streaky, he's just like the best player in the world, and when he's bad, he's literally doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
Right.
But he has home runs in 2 straight. Like we're starting to heat up a little bit here.
Sure. Where are they hitting, Josh?
So like 5th, 6th.
Okay.
Are you thinking about an Adolis?
Yeah, he's not really hitting the ball too well. We could one-off Eloy again against Cool. He's still hitting the ball really well.
Yeah, and he's been hitting righties, so I don't hate that at all.
All right, so now we can maybe reevaluate a little bit here. So we have
let's go through the rest
left over.
Let's go through the rest of the outfield and just
sure.
And then circle back. What did our boy McCarthy do last night? 1 for 4, disappointing. Just 1 hit. Are you serious, dude?
Right. Let's see. Harris is 44.
Yeah, he's just a monster.
Still hitting, which could. So Harris, if we went Harris over Eloy, we could go Grissom Harris as a 2 stack against Junis and get up from Miranda.
I don't hate that, honestly.
Right. So
I kind of like that. Yeah.
If we did, that would get us, right? Would that give us the 4?
Yeah.
No, we're short by a couple $100.
And we already spent down a lot of we probably have to get down from Bethancourt or Stanton.
Yeah, I mean Bettencourt would be the if we're moving off of Aranda, we don't really need to play Bettencourt, so
right.
We could spend down a little bit more if we wanted to there. Again, it could just punt with a Red Sox catcher and let it ride. We do have 5K. Let's look. Let's see. Is there any 2K outfielders? Because we could go instead of Andrews. The Andrews Eloy stack would have been what we had there against.
Right.
If we use Bichette at short with Judge and Stanton, we have a $2,800 outfielder.
Bubba Thompson again stole another base yesterday. He's now stolen 5 bases his last 4 games. He gets a lefty. That's a little stack with
Dickerson
Jung.
At 28 against
Yep.
whatever matchup they got there.
2 righty. It's 2 righties. The one, Josh Lindblom, most recently was pitching in the KBO in 2019, and then has not looked good in major league stints. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't really hate that, honestly.
No, I don't either. I think Dickerson's been super solid.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. If we're just not trying to skip over all these 3K guys for you all.
There's a 2K.
Newbar will lead off for Bush.
Yeah, still monster numbers against righties, but just struggling a little bit lately.
Yeah. Laureano gets a lefty and Reagan's. I know he's been a little bit off since he's come back, but.
What's his price?
He's 37.
37. I was looking down 3K, holy cow, he is cheap.
Pollock is 32. Stone Garrett will finally get to play because there's a lefty on the mound.
Yeah, there's a lefty.
Tough lefty to face, but he'll be on the line.
Hey, Stone, get out there. You get Kershaw tonight. Oh, Coach, I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, I like Dickerson at 28. I think that's a good spot for him. You said there was a 2K guy you liked?
Yeah.
Sheets is 26, but he's hitting bad. He's not hitting well.
Alex Call has been playing for Washington every day. Hit a couple home runs in back-to-back games last week. Hitting 370 over his last 10.
Where is he?
2K to fill out, but he's a righty. We'll see if he's in the lineup. But
where is he hitting in the lineup?
I think he's hitting at the bottom of their lineup.
Okay, I was saying we have
all the way at the bottom. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about a little 2-man, but I think he's all the way down there.
All right, let's go Dickerson then at 28.
Yep, works.
Unless you wanted to spend all the way down at catcher, but I think Dickerson.
I think what we have
Dickerson or Thompson here.
Dickerson has a pretty good matchup. I think Waldichuk is a pretty good prospect.
Okay.
I think Josh Young is too, and I don't want to overload Texas. Just how inconsistent they've been.
All right, well, that's where we're at then. Our lineup, give me your home run call. We already built our lineup, so give me your home run call.
I'm going to go Stanton. I think he's going to hit another home run today.
All right, I'm going to go Voit. I think Voit gets it done against Creamer.
Okay.
Just to keep our home run calls within the lineup here. Creamer has allowed 5 homers over his last 10 games. So only 7 on the season, but 5 over the last 10. So starting to maybe lose it as we get deeper into the season as more innings go on that young arm of his.
Fastball's a little elevated there, huh?
All right, so that's what we got. We got Stanton and we got Voit as our home run calls. And our lineup, you watched us making the thought process as we went along. Jordan Montgomery, Jacob deGrom going up at pitching. deGrom is so expensive. We're spending down at a lot of spots here. So Christian Bettencourt, assuming in the lineup today, 2,900. If he's not, we'll just pivot down to one of the Sox catchers most likely. Luke Voit at 2,900 at first base. We have Aranda at 2K for Tampa Bay at second base. Josh Jung at 2K. Third, spending up for some power here. Bo Bichette at 57 at short. Aaron Judge at 64. Giancarlo Stanton at 51, a little two-man Yankee stack, and Corey Dickerson finishes off our outfield at 2,800. That gives us no salary remaining. So that is the lineup for today. 11 game playbook will be out today. I believe it's Freeland. I think it's Vreeland. Might be Pete Cole.
I think it's one of them.
It's not Grande because he did it yesterday. So it's going to be one of those. So yeah, if you have any questions, get in our Discord, and James and I will be back tomorrow. Good luck.